Pierce Brosnan's life is often remembered through the elegance of tuxedos, the calm precision of James Bond, and the effortless composure he brought to global cinema. Yet behind that polished image lies a story shaped by absence, resilience, and quiet endurance. His journey was not built on sudden success, but on years of waiting, loss, and reinvention. From a childhood marked by abandonment to international fame and personal tragedy, Brosnan's path reflects a deeper truth. Strength is not always loud. It is often formed in silence long before the world, Mimicold, ever begins to notice the man standing in front of it. A childhood marked by absence. Born in Drogheda, Ireland, Brosnan entered a world that offered little stability. His father left when he was an infant, leaving behind no explanation, no presence, only absence. That absence became his earliest companion. His mother, working as a nurse, struggled to maintain a stable home and eventually left to seek work in London, leaving young Pierce in the care of relatives. For years, he moved between households, never fully rooted anywhere. In those shifting spaces, he learned to observe rather than expect, to adapt rather than rely, and to quietly accept that permanence was not guaranteed in life. Learning silence and emotional distance. As a child without consistent guardianship, Brosnan developed a quiet emotional armor. He did not easily express need or expectation because experience had taught him that waiting often led nowhere. One defining memory was simply standing in a doorway, waiting far longer than comfort allowed, until waiting itself lost meaning. From that point forward, something shifted internally. He stopped anticipating return where none had come before. This emotional adjustment was not dramatic but subtle, shaping his personality into one marked by calm restraint. What others interpreted as mystery or distance was often the result of early lessons in impermanence. A new home and first inspirations. When his mother eventually returned and remarried, Brosnan experienced a slightly more stable environment. His stepfather provided a sense of calm consistency and introduced him to everyday skills and patience. Around this time, a pivotal cultural moment occurred when he watched a James Bond film for the first time. The character on screen represented something entirely unfamiliar to him: control, certainty, and presence without hesitation. That image stayed with him. It was not just entertainment, but a symbolic contrast to his own unsettled childhood. In that contrast, an early seed of identity was quietly planted within him. Discovery of art and acting. Initially drawn to visual art, Brosnan studied painting in London, living modestly and navigating the uncertainty of youth. Acting was never part of his original plan. However, a chance moment in a theater workshop changed his direction. Curious and impulsive, he stepped into performance without training or expectation. What emerged was not technique, but natural presence. Teachers noticed his stillness, his ability to hold attention without effort. That recognition led him toward formal training in drama. In that environment, discipline replaced chance, and he slowly began shaping raw instinct into craft through persistence rather than privilege. Training, discipline, and early work drama school was demanding, and many students abandoned it under pressure. Brosnan remained. He worked through exhaustion, financial strain, and uncertainty about his future. Early roles were small and often uncredited, but each experience contributed to his understanding of performance as endurance rather than instant success. He learned to inhabit characters with quiet intensity, drawing not from external glamour, but internal stillness. These years were not glamorous. They were foundational. Each audition, each minor role, and each rejection became part of a gradual construction of an actor who understood both invisibility and presence equally well. Breakthrough and setbacks in television. His breakthrough came with television, where he gained attention for his charm and screen presence. The role that brought him widespread recognition also positioned him as a potential successor to James Bond. However, timing proved unpredictable. Opportunities appeared and disappeared, contracts shifted, and roles he seemed destined for were reassigned. At one point, he was nearly cast as Bond, only to see the opportunity withdrawn. Instead of immediate stardom, he experienced delay and uncertainty. Yet he continued working steadily, building a reputation that combined patience with professionalism. even as larger success repeatedly slipped just out of reach, becoming James Bond. Eventually, the long-awaited role arrived. Brosnan was chosen to portray James Bond, and with it came global recognition. His performance in GoldenEye redefined the franchise for a new generation, blending sophistication with emotional restraint. The film's success transformed him into an international icon. Subsequent films solidified his place in cinema history, with audiences embracing his version of Bond as both refined and accessible. Yet behind the success was a quiet awareness that everything he had once been denied had now arrived all at once. The role did not just elevate him, it redefined his entire public identity. Personal loss and private strength. While his professional life reached extraordinary heights, his personal life carried profound sorrow. He experienced deep love with his first wife, Cassandra Harris, and embraced her children as his own. Their family life brought him emotional grounding he had never known. However, tragedy struck when illness entered their lives, eventually taking her away. The loss reshaped him permanently. Years later, he would also experience the heartbreaking loss of their daughter. These experiences did not define him publicly, but they deeply influenced his inner world, reinforcing resilience shaped not by fame, but by enduring personal grief. Later, career and identity beyond Bond. After years in the Bond role, Brosnan eventually stepped away as the franchise moved in a new direction. The transition was quiet and professional, marking the end of an era rather than a dramatic departure. Rather than being defined by what ended, he continued building a diverse career in film and television. Over time, he became less associated solely with Bond and more recognized as a versatile actor and producer. His identity expanded beyond a single character, reflecting a lifelong pattern, adaptation in the face of change, and continuity, despite loss or transition. Conclusion. Pierce Brosnan's story is not simply one of fame or cinematic success. It is a portrait of endurance shaped by early absence, personal loss, and repeated reinvention. From a child learning to live with silence to a global figure embodying composure and control, his journey reflects how identity is often built in the spaces where stability is missing. What remains most striking is not the elegance of his on-screen presence, but the quiet resilience behind it. His life suggests that strength is not the absence of hardship, but the ability to continue forward despite it, without losing oneself in the process.